just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, Bad Weather Fans, episode number 275. Mike Biseglia, Alex Nesowitz, and we are fully in the off season. No, Ben Simmons is not signed with the Knicks, or he hasn't come back to the Nets either. So off season kind of settling now. Mike Brown, the head coach of the Knicks, that summer league games have progressed, and here we are. We are going to have some fun though. WFAN Sports Radio in New York just put out their quarter of a century team for New York basketball. That's combining Knicks and Nets. We'll have a little fun with that. They've been doing all the sports, but we'll stick to the basketball one here. Kyrie Irving spoke on his live stream and addressed Kevin Durant's podcast, or the podcast he went on with Steve Nash and LeBron James. And then we got a fun jersey number trivia sponsored by our good friend Dolan J. Trump, which is a combination of the president of the United States and Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, merged together to give us trivia. Alex, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, and fans of the podcast know Dolan J. Trump, and people on Twitter know Dolan J. Trump. He's a good dude. I'm doing well. The dog days of the summer. Baseball's getting kind of boring at this point. Mets sweep the Angels, so that's good. Yankees are twirling in the wind, and it's just with Volpe and throwing the ball all over the place, and it's just like there's nothing really going on. The summer league's over. Football training camp's just opening. I mean, Justin Fields scare today, which I like. I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Don't send me, troll texts with giant quarterbacks with pick six.
Oh, that's that was
stuff. You deserve that. No, I mean, you don't deserve that. He didn't.
Jackson Dart's first pass in training camp was a pick six. So I sent that to you.
Could be worse.
This is funny.
Could be worse.
And then the next day, Justin Fields is carted off the field. I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
I'm always thinking of karma. You know me.
I deserve that. I really did. But yeah, no. So all's well. Justin Fields, dislocated toe. He'll be fine. And here we go.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about?
So WFA ended their quarter of a century team. Basically, that's from the year 2000 to the year 2025, 25 years. And it's taking the Knicks and Nets and combining to make a starting lineup, have a head coach, and then have 4 players come off the bench. I believe the way it worked at the Fan was they just had a vote.
Yes,
every employee there, and then I guess whoever came out on top won. But let me read you the starting 5 from the last 25 years. At point guard from the Nets, Jason Kidd. At the 2 guard from the Nets, Vince Carter. At the 3 from the Knicks, Carmelo Anthony. At the 4 from the Nets, Kevin Durant. The center is Brook Lopez from the Nets. The head coach, Tom Thibodeau from the Knicks. Then off the bench, Jalen Brunson, Allen Houston, Richard Jefferson, the lone net, Tyson Chandler, and then Latrell Sprewell. First off, very fun topic. I wish I thought of it. It's a good idea.
So since 2000, 25 years into the century, quarter century.
Yeah.
Those who can't count.
And just overall view, I think they did a pretty good job as a staff picking it.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny though, like you and we'll start at the point guard position, because I have been really good about not falling in Twitter habits of fighting with people. This got me.
Shout out to Mikey Coinsnatch. Mikey Coinsnatch.
This got me.
My guy, that's my guy.
Because this one got me because this is not like one of those things where you could have a debate. Jason Kidd is the starting point guard.
100%.
And it's not up for debate. So I guess when I'm fighting with people that, were born in the in the 2000s, I'm like, what am I doing with myself? And I'm embarrassed that I got engaged in that. But I'm so passionate, Alex, about the topic, I couldn't help myself. But for those listening, I don't know if it's a younger Knick fan, just doesn't know the history of the sport. If they're just arrogant.
Just a homer. Probably.
I don't really know, because
So this fan on Knick Fan said, Mikey Coinsnatch on Twitter said that Jalen Brunson is better than Jason Kidd, and Mike got into it with him. I got into it with him, and everybody just sparked a big debate. So,
and in particular, I said this to him. I was like, "Did you watch Jason Kidd play in his prime?" And he said no. And for me, once you say that, how can I respect your opinion on comparing two players if you didn't see one of them and you're just basing it off how great Brunson, and Brunson's been brilliant. I'm not saying he hasn't, but how can you um have a logical conversation when you haven't seen the other side of the combo? It makes it where I can't respect your opinion. Now, if you
Right.
said you watched him and you played, and this is what you think, okay, I think you're wrong, but at least given I can respect it more. I can't respect it if you haven't seen him play and you're just basing it on Brunson scores a lot of points.
Yeah. Oh, Jason Kidd's just a better passer. Jason Kidd is clearly the better player than Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was a late bloomer also, and Jason Kidd uh, hit the ground running the moment he got to the Nets. I mean, Jalen Brunson did the same, but the moment Jason Kidd got in the NBA, he was better. And you know what I mean? So it's not really a comparison. It's not fair to Jalen also because
Sure.
you're. I said this to our boy Eric St. Croix on Twitter. Also, he used to be that. I don't know what he is now. He was saying like he was on like on our side with the argument with Mikey Coinsnatch, and he was saying like, Jason Kidd's obviously better. And then my point to him was, Jason Kidd is not better than Magic Johnson, but he's in the conversation. He's at the table. Jalen
Right.
Brunson's not at the table.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? That's really what it is with Magic Johnson. And that you can't even compare the two, and it's just not fair to Jalen. And now Jalen's story is not written. Like he can go out and win the next 3, 4 championships and blow everything away. And like, let's see, some realistic win one championship and then have another couple crazy years, and then it's a conversation. But right now, it's not, and that's what we're talking about right now, and it's just
Right.
not.
I
And
don't
that's
think,
unfair. Yeah,
I'm very defensive of it because when Kid
that's
came
your
to the team,
guy. Yeah,
changed the whole franchise. And I don't know if the younger Nick fan understands how good he was for the Nets. And it wasn't just,
no,
he averaged 14 points per game and it was 9.2 assists and 8.7 rebounds. I'm making it up, but it was something like that. He dictated the game. He changed everything that happened there
smartest player ever.
and just
Smartest player.
made everybody around him so good. That's why I said the point. Like if he was on this Knicks team, they beat the Pacers because
Hmm.
he elevates people around him to another level. Like Mikal Bridges would be a all-star fringe superstar with Kid with him. He would be that good. And like Karl Anthony Towns and him would be spectacular together. And I don't know if somebody that didn't see Jason Kidd play can't understand that, but he was just that dynamic of a basketball player. And he did things that I've never seen before in my life, still haven't seen. A special time for basketball for me. So I think Jalen Brunson's the second best player on that list in the last 25 years. But I think unfortunately for him, he just fell in the spot where the guy that was number one is an all-timer.
Well, Jason Kidd, it was just more his game was he saw the game 3, 4 steps ahead. You know what I mean? He would be knowing where a guy was going to go before the guy knew where he was going to go and hit them with the ball. And he
Yep.
would just know what was happening. The only other player in this era, the last 25 years, that was similar to him, I think, was Rondo in his prime with the Celtics, where he just was unbelievable.
Yep.
You're just like looking one way, throwing it another, dribbling every way, like just somehow he had like a sixth sense, like LeBron is kind of like that too. Well, younger LeBron, you know what I'm saying? So it's just you can't. It's just unfair to compare that
Yeah.
to Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson has changed the entire franchise. He has turned his
Totally.
team into a contender, a perennial contender. And saying that he would have been incredible with Towns is awesome too. But like for Kid, if he was in Jalen Brunson's shoes, but Jalen Brunson also was awesome with Towns. You know what I mean? They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
they went on a run, and I get it. And they blew game one, and they could have gone to the finals, and maybe
But
got against the Thunder to a deeper playoff series. Sure, but Jason Kidd is better than Brunson, so I get your theory.
Brunson's inefficiencies with Towns and on the defensive end would
Mhm.
not happen with Kid, and that liability wouldn't happen. Like
Right.
those defensive issues that the Knicks came across that got Tom Thibodeau fired would not have happened with Jason Kidd. But I'm just that I had to like engage in this. And Twitter's a weird sport because you say something, you see the rebuttal, then you pile on. Um, it was the first.
Then you
It's
don't know
funny,
if the guy's trolling it at some point where they
right?
just start doubling down, like, oh, they're calling me names, like,
But it's
fuck this,
fine.
I'm going to keep being a
Yeah,
dick now. The one that I did not agree with that you might disagree with me on is Kevin Durant as a
yeah.
starter. The
Who would
guy's
you like?
played, the guy's played like what? He played what? How many games for the Nets?
130 for the Nets
138 or so,
regular.
129 games in 3 years for the Nets. Won one playoff series. you got to put either Kenyon Martin or Julius Randle over him. And, I'm not the biggest Randle fan, but Julius Randle not even being on this team is a joke, in my opinion. The guy turned the Knicks around as well. He helped Jalen Brunson. He got there before him. He was a two-time All-Star, All-NBA player. How he's not even on this team and how Tyson Chandler's on this team for him, how Latrell Sprewell or Allen Houston are on this team over him is just a joke because they had their best years in the late 90s. It wasn't even the 2000s. Once the 2000s hit, that's when the Knicks started to decline. They had the 2001 run to, I think, the conference finals. And then after that, it was all downhill. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston are on this team. Tyson Chandler won Defensive Player of the Year. Fine. You want to put him there.
What about Amari?
Amari? No. If anything, I don't know. So here's a list. Nick and Nader sent it to me of the guys who the pick 2 forwards. So it was Melo, obviously, Kevin Durant, Richard Jefferson, Julius Randle, Latrell Sprewell, Keith Van Horn, Amari Stoudemire, Porzingis, David Lee is an interesting one, and Kenyon Martin. David Lee is a very, very interesting one. He was an all-star, and he had big numbers, but the team was so bad. I don't understand how you can pick Kevin Durant over Julius Randle or Kenyon Martin. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I'll make it make sense, and I'll start with the Kenyon factor.
Popularity contest. That's what it is. Really,
we'll start. It's more about just basketball and skill and overall ability. But I'll start with Kenyon, and we'll dictate here because I'll do Kenyon versus Randle on this stage. The one thing about Kenyon is people don't realize he really wasn't with the Nets that long.
Okay,
the years he was there was impactful. Because, year 3, he goes to the NBA Finals. He plays 5 years for the Nets. Not a terribly amount of long time. Bruce Ratner issues. He goes to Denver. Devastated. I was so depressed when he left. He's my favorite Net of all time. And there's not a close. Well, Draws and Kenyon, my 2 favorite guys. But Kenyon's impact on the Nets is outstanding, right? Helped him go to back-to-back NBA Finals. Is a freak of nature defensively. Makes an all-star team. And he does all the little things that help. Unlike Julius Randle, the fans love him. He's embraced by the fans. I went to every single game of his. Every time he walked on the court because the Net fans were dead and he changed the environment in Continental Airlines Arena, he would put his hands up in the air and make every Net fan stand to create juice in the building because he knew it was a joke. And that's how much he embraced that Net fandom.
He gave you a swagger. He gave you attitude.
Totally.
He gave
Randle
you toughness.
gave the exact opposite of that. So
in the beginning he did though. In the beginning, Randle gave us swagger and attitude.
And here's a major difference with Randle. He was so bad in the playoffs. He was horrible. That first year they did make the playoffs. They lost to the Hawks, and he was the star. He was horrible, invisible. And the year when they, Brunson was with them, he was also horrible
and hurt. And the other times, the playoffs definitely are bad.
Durant. Yes, he didn't play in a lot of games, but he was so brilliant at his craft that it's not fair to put them in the same stratosphere because of just how good he was when he did play. He was so efficient, shooting 40% from 3, 50 from 2, 90% from the free throw line. The guy scored 29 points per game. In the playoffs, the one year they were there, 34 points per game. He had brilliant series versus the Bucks. And you have to take this into consideration. No Kyrie and no James Harden. The guy's putting up 50, 10, and 10 every night. If somebody for the Knicks did that, I'd have to hear about it every goddamn day for the rest of my life.
You do, Jalen Brunson.
Spectacular for the Nets. He was spectacular. And the relationship with Randle, now you're looking back at it, he was there, he played games, but there was so much
I hated
bullshit.
him. No, I get it. I hated him.
I can't put him ahead of either of those guys. I do agree with you, though, when you're looking at the bench and you see Spree and Houston, who were unbelievable in their prime and did so much for the Knicks in that late 90s, but early 2000s.
They were good 2000, 2001. You know what I mean? They were there, but then Houston got hurt. Sprewell went to the Timberwolves, and then it was over.
They're making the list based on what they did in the 90s.
Right. Well, just a WFAN just not being able to tell you about other players. You know what I'm saying?
I do give them credit for at least the starting lineup wasn't like, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. I don't know.
Well, I would even put Josh Hart on the team, not on the bench over Sprewell or Houston. Honestly,
well, I'll let you do that. I'm not
honestly. I mean, how can you know what I mean? Because Josh Hart has been. Look at his record since he's joined the Knicks. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible. 3 playoff series wins. I don't even know what the win. If you want to Google that real quick, whatever that is, the Josh Hart's record as a Knick. But whatever, we can.
Google it. Can I guess?
Yes. Hold on. I'm just looking for
So
something.
he's played what now? 2.5 seasons with them.
Yeah.
Is
Josh
that
Hart
what it
wasn't
is?
even an option on one of these, any of these lists. So pick two forwards. He's not as a forward. He's not listed as a guard. So, the guards that were the selections were Allen Houston, Kerry Kittles, Vince Carter, Jamal Crawford, and Joe Johnson.
No, Darren Williams.
No Darren Williams. Point guards were Jason Kidd, Jalen Brunson, Marbury, which one, Knicks or Nets? Devin Harris, Kyrie Irving, and Raymond Felton.
That's an interesting conversation. Was Marbury better with the Nets or the Knicks? Sheesh.
Probably the
Probably
Nets.
the Nets. Would you say the Knicks?
Probably the Nets, but he was a Knick because
Right.
he wanted to be a Knick. He was a Knick fan and the whole thing.
But he was an all-star with the Nets.
Yeah.
And he
The center
was.
one is weird too. Brooke Lopez, Mitchell Robinson, Dyson Chandler, and Marcus Camby. I mean, Camby also was pretty much toast for a couple. He was there for a
That's
couple of years, and then they got
Lopez
traded for.
wins.
Yeah,
Lopez
Lopez
wins.
does win.
Lopez wins that just because
Well,
he's
with
the
those
all-time
four
Nets leading
options,
scorers. Yeah, it's a.
it's a terrible options. I
So
mean,
the coach then I think is a more interesting one.
Tibbs.
Tibbs or Scott. So Byron Scott takes the Nets to 2 NBA finals.
So it's Tibbs, Woodson, Scott, and Frank.
I think it's Tibbs. Like
Yeah,
as much
I
as
agree.
as much as Scott
I
did a
agree.
great. I mean, Scott took the Nets to 2 NBA finals. You can never take that away from him.
They both got run out of town though by their star
They
players.
did.
So it's kind of funny.
But if you take Jason Kidd away from the Nets, I think Scott, nobody even knows he coached in New Jersey. You take Brunson away from the Knicks, and obviously the popularity thing changes a little bit, but I
Mhm.
think Thibodeau gets more out of the squad. I think Thibodeau actually did a better job, even though Scott had more basketball success going to two
Well, Scott
finals.
was like right place, right time kind of a coach, right?
Yes.
I got you.
Because then Frank takes over and they go to the second round, but that was the Nets. Actually, that was the Nets' best team to actually have a chance to win a championship because Kenyon and RJ Kenyon was an all-star. RJ was a set. They weren't babies anymore. They were like NBA vets. But
Right.
Kidd was hurt and they couldn't beat Detroit. And 7 Pistons end up winning the NBA championship, beating the Lakers. Like that net team, Kidd's healthy, might have a chance to win.
Yeah. So Josh Hart's record. Let me look at ChatGPT because I think StatMuse is giving me some BS. Hold on.
What are you asking?
Josh Hart record with Knicks.
It's got to be 100 and like 34 and 60 or something.
You're pretty close. 114 and 69, 62 winning
Okay.
percentage.
Yeah.
And that's including 3 rounds won in the playoffs. 4 rounds run, right?
Well,
So
they-
they want 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3, right?
So
So yeah, because second round, and then third round.
yeah.
So, that's pretty incredible. You know what I mean? And he was borderline all-star last year. I know he ended the season pretty shitty because the roles got all messed up in the playoffs and he just was terrible in the playoffs last year. I mean in the second round, or third round, he was the second. Whatever it was.
He was
starting to
versus
fall
the
off.
Pacers.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It
It's-
was like unplayable kind of a situation for him.
It's so fascinating in NBA playoff basketball because of how matchups work
Right.
that guys like Hart, who are so important to the team, clearly mega valuable, obviously, do so much, but then get to a point where it's like, I don't know if I can play this guy because of how the matchups are going and how the other team's coaching me, which you don't get in the NBA regular season. NBA regular season, Josh is like, I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to out hustle you. I'm going to get 15, 9, and 6 and
Mhm.
put my, footprints on this game. But you get to playoffs and Carlisle's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're like, oh shit.
When you can actually scheme for a guy like that, you can
Right.
take him out. A good coach can take him out.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I hear you, but I don't understand how he's not on that list. That's all I'm saying. Keith Van Horn. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, Van Horn, come on.
is a Nick and a net. So another
He'd be
one.
there for again. It is interesting too how there's so many better. Like if that's the case, like Kenyon should be there over Spreewell or Houston.
Absolutely. Kenyon or Randle should be there over Sprewell or Houston. Well, Sprewell and Houston are listed as Houston's listed as a guard, so I would even put Kerry Kittles over Houston. Honestly,
Yeah,
in the 2000s,
late Houston.
yeah, not or Joe Johnson. I don't know.
Joe
but-
Johnson over Houston. I mean, Joe was
Yeah.
good. He was good.
Yeah, he had some good years.
he was very
Houston
good.
fell apart. He literally fell apart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He was.
I don't know.
Still
It's
fun
a,
to do that.
It's a fun thing. I feel like there's some names they left off the voting, the ballot, left off the ballot, but whatever. That's what it's all fun. It was a good job by
Yeah.
WFAN. People kill them all the time, and this one was actually a good idea. So give him credit.
You see Kyrie Irving spoke on his
I
live
heard.
stream. I tweeted this, and
Known truth teller, Kyrie Irving.
I thought this tweet would do better. It was disappointing to me, but I want James Harden to do a live stream, and I want a video of Kyrie talking to Durant, like all in the same square, so they're all together. If that makes sense. See,
No,
maybe,
I don't
maybe
know.
didn't like. So if you look at this screenshot of Kyrie talking, he's doing a live stream,
Yeah.
and he's doing his live stream video, and in his video, you see Kevin Durant talking to Steve Nash and LeBron James.
Right.
Does that make sense? Did you see what it looked like? Have you
No,
seen
I just saw him
Kyrie's doing a
sitting.
live stream, and in the
Yeah.
live stream, he's on a camera and he's sharing his screen, and the screen he's sharing is Durant talking to Nash. I want Harden to do the same thing and share his screen and have Kyrie looking at just never mind. I'll shut the fuck up.
I get it. No, but yeah, that's something that's funny in your mind.
It works. Okay. It works up here. It works in this Biseglia brain.
Yes.
I beyond the nuance of like what they said, there's some people that have said, I don't want to hear from these guys.
Yeah.
This is such a horrible time in net basketball. Like, just I don't get it. Like, you guys all fucked each other, not literally. Like, just fuck But I want to hear from them. I'm the opposite of everybody that's like, oh, there was such a horrible time. We got to move on. I'm like, no, I want accountability. I want these guys to talk about it. I want to hear what happened. I'm interested. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that says, oh, that was 5 years ago. I don't care. I've moved on now. It was a horrible part of Nets basketball. I want accountability. I want these guys to talk about it. They might disagree. It might be a lot of bullshit, but I deserve, as a Nets fan, to know what the fuck happened with 3 players that are top 75. Like, we just did a list of WFAN's best, Knicks of the last 25 years. That list should have Kyrie Irving and James Harden on it if the guys understood how to get along and not let ego get in the way. And let's say the Nets had won 2 championships and Kyrie and Harden were spectacular. That list should be Kidd, Kyrie, Harden, Durant, Lopez, and it's over. But of course, it's not, because they all couldn't figure it out. And that's how frustrated I am. I want to hear it. I want to hear what happened. I deserve to know. And I don't want to just shove it in the denial corner and say, let me move on. I want answers.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, and especially since it's been a couple of years where it's time to hear some answers. When it just happened, you're like, oh, just go away, just get out of my fucking sight. Enough of these guys complaining and all this crap. And it's just now it's like, all right, now everybody's starting to chirp. Everybody's landed and they're comfortable in their new spots. Harden's got his new deal. Kyrie's found a home in Dallas, and Durant is finally traded again. And Steve Nash is doing podcasts and starting to talk finally and defend himself for once, instead of just being a little shill for the organization. You know what I mean? And everybody's starting to talk, and all these egos start to get involved, and everybody's starting to chirp a little bit, and it just continues what we've been saying on this podcast, that there needs to be a documentary about this run. And it needs to be like Nets and Knicks related, kind of, but mostly like a Nets centered documentary. But with
I don't want the Knicks in it.
Knicks heavily involved in this. It has to be. They're intertwined, man. They're
part of the story, but it's a Nets story.
It is a Nets story, but it all starts with the Knicks and the Nets from the 2019 offseason.
Yeah,
so they have to be intertwined, but more of a Nets focus because it's where they went. You know what I mean? But the Knicks have to be part of the story. Whatever. Point is that you said Kyrie. What did he say exactly on the stream? Because I didn't see the whole thing.
He basically said that he wished that he got to know the Nets and their staff better before just signing there, but did it basically because Kevin Durant said, hey, let's go here. And then he said, I wasn't going to bail on KD even after the Achilles. I still went to the Nets because that's my buddy, that's my brother, that's my friend. I'm going to do it. But he wished that he got to know the Nets a little better. And he's clearly saying, I hated Kenny Atkinson.
Well, we knew that already.
Well. But I mean, and I also thought it was funny. He said in there, I was 28, I was 29, I was immature. He said that comment, which was ridiculous.
You're a grown man, dude. At that point.
But he said,
you're not 20 years old then,
he said, I picked the Nets because of Kevin. And then it also said that Durant is the one that wanted Steve. And he's like, yeah, I'm about it. Do your thing. Basically saying he you could hear his frustration coming out that Durant was running the Nets.
But Kyrie said that he signed with the Nets because he was a diehard Nets fan. He grew up a Nets fan and wanted to be on the Nets. Like that was his thing. That was his thing when he had his speech before the first game, like getting all choked up and this fake crying bullshit. Like, I can't believe this is really true, and coming out and saying all this crap. Said the same thing when he got the Celtics. Would you guys extend me if you'll have me? Remember all that crap? He's just a liar. The guy's just a giant liar. He's just in his own head. He caused all the drama with the Nets, like literally all the drama with the Nets. He barely showed up. He left the team to go to a birthday party. He shared an anti-Semitic documentary. He wouldn't get a COVID vaccine when everybody got one, when you're supposed to be like trying to win a championship. And I get it. Like, I'm not judging anybody who's not trying to win who doesn't want to take the vaccine. Everybody has their own choice. But when you're a pro athlete and you're going to give up hundreds, not hundreds, but like 20, $30 million and a chance to win a championship and do something that not many people can do in their lifetime. I know he's already won one, but to win one with your friends and get your reputation and say that you can win it without LeBron, and it's a bigger deal. Like, then the COVID, get the damn shot, you moron. You know what I mean? So it's just, there's things like that. Like, you know what? Like, he's just surrounded by nothing but yes men, and he hasn't been told no since he was with LeBron, and he ran away from that. And he's just become a different person. And I know now he's in Dallas, and they love him there, and that's fine. But good for him and good for Dallas if they like him. But it's the ticking time bomb as always, and he's just, I don't believe anything that he says. Like, I don't believe it, because one day he's saying one thing and the next day he's saying the next thing. And it's just whatever way the wind blows for Kyrie Irving. He's just a clown. That's all it is.
No, there's definitely some boy who cried wolf. So I totally understand that. Like, yeah, you can't, he says that, and I couldn't blame you if you didn't want to take him for his word. I couldn't sit here and have an argument and tell you how. I will say that you earlier in the argument said that he went up there when he signed with the Nets, and he talked about how he came to Brooklyn because of his time with loving the New Jersey Nets, and that's what made him do it. Part of me does believe him here, because I think he's so vindictive against Kevin that he wanted to say it out loud and make him look like the victim here. Again, just I do believe him in this case.
That's so immature. So immature.
Well, of course it is. And then also, going back to what you said about the COVID stuff, I agree with you where you say, like, okay, he doesn't want to get the shot because it's what he believes and he doesn't want to do it. So he said, like, if I'm going to get this shot, I'm out of here. The part that in my heart, in my gut, that makes me upset is, I don't think he didn't want to get the shot because he thought it was morally incorrect to do it. I think he just wanted to go against the grain because somebody told him he had to, and he didn't want that. Right. That's the part that annoys me. If you truly were like, hey, man, I don't think this is my reason for vaccines, whatever. Like, I don't agree with it, but I in my gut, I'm telling you, it's because somebody told him you have to do this, and he did not want to be told what to do, and that's why he didn't want to get it.
And that's immaturity.
That's the part that kind of irks me more than, like, I actually don't really believe, like I'm like, again, in politics here, but RFK Jr. probably doesn't want to get the shot because he truly doesn't think it helps. I don't think it's that case. All right, and then we'll stop.
Well, it's also the sunk cost fallacy, the sociological phrase or term, where it's like you've dug yourself so deep, and this is just like a sociological take on the entire country right now, the world right now. You get online and you say something and you have a take, and some people are not mature enough to be like, I'm wrong. So what they do is they continue to double down and they keep going in on that thought. And then even when they're proven wrong, they're now going to turn it into something that's right and find an excuse to keep going, or they'll keep going that against the grain and not believe it even when they're presented with obvious facts. And that's what Kyrie Irving was doing, because he said he's not going to get the shot. So now he can't be like, you know what? I'm going to get the shot, because now he looks like a bitch. He looks like a hypocrite in his mind, even though he would look like the mature adult. Like, I'm doing this for the team. I'm doing this for my boy Kevin, like for the Nets fans, for the organization that's paid me so much money, that believed in me. I'm willing to go against my beliefs, and people would have respected that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not everybody. He would have had some people that are like called him names and whatever. But at the end of the day, like, Nobody remembers who got the shot and who didn't get the shot. The only people that you remember are Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving because they're still talking about it.
Right.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
it's like everybody's over it. They're still doing it. It's like Aaron, nobody cares.
cares.
Right. No,
And at the time, like I was engaged in and we're getting married and trying to get married during COVID times was like impossible. And we had to, I had best friends and I had family that, I'm not gonna have a wedding without that weren't vaccinated. And there were some people that backed out on my wedding because non-vaccinated people were going. And we were testing everybody before and making sure everybody had passed their test. If they didn't pass, they couldn't come, et cetera, et cetera. But we didn't care who was vaccinated, who's not vaccinated. Come. You just make sure you're tested. That's it. You know what I mean? So it's just I respect the people, but like I have friends who were most anti-vax people, and even them would call Kyrie Irving a clown. Like if somebody said, "Hey, you can make $20 million, even if you're a millionaire." Like people, like
yeah.
one of my friends is pretty well off, and he's like, you can make, let's say, in realistic American terms, $1 million, right? Not 20 million because that's not logical. $1 million if you take the shot, you would take the shot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just stupid, and especially like $1 million, and you can be a champion, and you can have a legacy that's even bigger you can get paid off of in 50 years from now. You know what I'm saying? You're just a moron. Like that's all.
Which is why all of this still frustrates me so
Right. I
much
know we
when I
went
think
really
about. But it
COVID
just
right there. Sorry.
no, but
Yeah.
it just frustrates me so much because there was a mandate put on. Like, let's say
Well,
that.
also the mandates were ridiculous
Well,
too. At some
the
point, it
mandates,
just got so hypocritical as well.
right? Well,
So both things are true.
well,
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
hypocrisy of it was
Yeah.
that road players could come into Barclays or
Exactly.
MSG not vaccinated and play, but then but a home team player couldn't, because then it's not about health, because it's the same problem if that's what you're looking at. And then Kyrie could go as a fan who was sitting courtside, and all of it was just a joke. And that part makes me so angry because let's say
And he could practice with the Nets, but he couldn't play
let's
in the
say
home games. You know what I mean? That doesn't
let's
make any
say
sense.
that never happens.
Yeah.
What changes with Harden and Kyrie's relationship? And I'm not saying they win a championship, but I get to see Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, and it's a different ending
Get
than
a
what
shot.
happened
They
that
had a
year.
shot.
And Ben
Yeah.
Simmons is never a net, and all of that. Like maybe it's a horrible second. Maybe we're on this podcast and we're talking about a horrible second round loss that occurs.
And they're all still Nets. Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm just like, wow, that had such an impact because of that mandate. Kyrie, the impact that it had on Harden, explosive. And that was it. I mean, it's so simple if it's just people. But
Egos.
you said something before. I'm kind of curious to ask you this when you were talking about people get in their ways and can't admit they're wrong. In
Sunk cost fallacy. Sunk
do
cost.
you think, and I would love to hear your opinion on this, social media has played a huge impact, because it's not just now you say it to your friend, right? Like I say it to you, I say it to my wife, I say it to my buddies in a group text. I feel like a loser. I got it wrong. But now it's like everybody in the world can see, right or wrong, your opinion.
Circle back, laugh at it. Million
You
people
think that
see it.
social
Yeah.
media has played an impact that it's made people get even deeper on those opinions?
Absolutely. It's made it worse because now you're not just getting clowned at your dinner table by your cousins or your friends or on a group chat or, well, this is before group chats, and you're not just getting clowned on Thanksgiving about that stupid thing you said 2 years ago and everybody laughs and it's like, oh, I love you, bro. Shut up. You know what I mean? Who cares? Stop getting upset. Now it's like, Isaiah Hartenstein's bringing up my take on with the biggest podcast in the country. Like, you know what I mean? Like about him, signing with the Thunder instead of staying with the Knicks. And like me, I don't care. It's just sports. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? I'm at a point in my life where I couldn't give a shit. 10 years ago, I might have been upset about that, but now I don't care. And I think it's funny. It's just sports also. But like, if you're talking about like some people take this stuff seriously, they're not emotionally mature enough. Not to pat myself on the back, they're not, but these people are not emotionally mature enough to admit that they're wrong, or they grew up in this social media world where they're, take a side and then they can't give up the side. Like politics is not supposed to be like your sports team. Democrats and Republicans, it's not supposed to be like your sports team. You're supposed to be able to change parties and change your mind and be like, wow, this guy's, I thought he was going to be great, but you know what? He fucked up. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to vote for this guy next time. But now it's like, I
Well,
can't change my side. I said MAGA for life. I said, left, Democrats for life. It's just
agree,
like,
agree with him or
dude.
disagree with him. I do think Trump has enabled all of that, where
Right.
it's become that. Like it's different than when Bush was in office, when Clinton was in office, even Obama was in office. It's a different
It was
world
all
now.
trickling downhill though. It was
Yes,
starting to
and
deteriorate.
he
It
was
wasn't all
the
Trump that deteriorated it, but he blew it up
he
for
blew it
sure.
up. He was
Yeah.
the match that just lit it up.
Yeah.
Lit it up. I think that's the cue. Do you want to do jersey number trivia?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. So, jersey number trivia brought to you by Dolan J. Trump. He gives me a Nets number and clues, and I read it to Mike, and he has to guess the answer, and vice versa. Mike gives me a Knicks one. So, who wants to go first?
I'll read it first.
Okay, let's go.
Um, although there's an edit here because he gave a clue that made me get it, so I have to
You
change
think
the clue.
I'll
So
get it from the clue?
I won't read the clue. But you
Okay.
know me with these clues. There's one clue that always helps me.
Yeah.
All
College.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. You ready?
Uh-huh.
He played 16 years in the NBA. 3 of those seasons with the Knicks.
16 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sweet 16.
All right. Keep going.
He appeared in 144 games with the Knicks, 15 more than Kevin Durant. No, with the Nets. He appeared in 144 games with the Knicks from 1997 to 2000. He's not on that list, by the way.
From
Making
1997 to 2000. Okay.
Yep, making 41 starts at center, where he averaged 2 points and 4 rebounds.
Three years with the Knicks from the end of the 90s.
97, 2000,
How many
40,
starts?
41 starts,
Okay.
half of 82.
I think I know it, but keep going. I'm buzzing. Buzz. I think I know it, but I want to hear the
So
rest.
before you answer, I have this idea where we actually develop this out, where the earlier you guess, the more points you get for getting it right, but you
Uh-huh.
also lose points if you guess and get it wrong.
Uh-huh.
That way we could have like a real score and figure it out. But anyway,
Okay.
do you
That's an
want to
idea.
guess?
I don't want to guess, but I think I know what it is.
You know it. He also featured stops in Portland, Cleveland, New Jersey, and Phoenix.
It's Chris Dudley.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I know it.
So I'll give the old clue. He attended college in the Ivy League at Yale. That's right.
Oh yeah, because with the what's his name, the Supreme Court justice that he was friends with.
So
What's his name?
okay. So
Yeah.
I told Dolan, I said, Yale is where I got it. And then he texted me, changed the clue then to he attended college in the Ivy League at the same university as Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, that's the guy.
So there you go.
Yeah. No, he can't give me late 90s. I mean, 90s
Yeah.
in general, I'm going to get, but late 90s especially, I'm going to crush.
With the Knicks, he wore number 14.
Yeah.
If I got that one, so
Yeah. Well, the Nets connection too.
well, yeah, nobody goes to Yale.
Nobody
That was what
does.
gave it away.
Not in the NBA. Yeah. No, nobody.
I feel like he was harder for me.
Let's see. Oh, I got to pull it up. Hold on. No, yeah. Chris Dudley, that was one I could get. Let's see. Okay. This one's tough.
Is it in my bad wheelhouse?
Yes. Yes. He played 10 seasons in the NBA with one of them with the Nets.
Yeah.
He appeared in 80 games during the 2012-2013 season and made 8 starts at point guard
2012
to 13.
I gotta just think where.
So it's the 13 season. Yeah.
So the end of Jersey.
Oh, wasn't that? They were already in Brooklyn.
What year they moved to Brooklyn?
Well, 13 was when the Knicks had the 54 1 year. So then the Nets were already in Brooklyn because that was the year of the Paul Pierce and stuff.
Shouldn't
Right?
pick my nose. Yeah, I'm not gonna get
I
this.
shouldn't be helping you, but that's
I'm not gonna get this.
You're not. His career also featured stops in Chicago, Golden State, Indiana, and Orlando.
Chicago, Golden State, Indiana, and Orlando. Okay.
He played college in the SEC at the same university as Tobias Harris, Allen Houston, and Peyton Manning.
Okay. Okay. So this is the only clue that'll help me. Okay.
Nets fans would agree that he shouldn't try to dunk the ball.
I know who it is.
With the Nets, he wore number 1.
I know who it is, but I'm blanking on the name. I know who it is. Give me a
So
second.
then you don't know who it is.
I know who it is.
DJ
DJ Watson.
Yes, CJ Watson it is. You got
That
it.
clue gave it away.
The dunk? Why? What was the
Don't
the
worry
reference?
about it. Don't worry about it.
Now I have to look it up. Did he miss a dunk or something?
Yes.
Like really badly? I gotta
Yeah.
see this. Hold on. Let me see.
It changed the whole complexity of their playoff series.
Was that versus the Raptors?
No.
Oh,
Bulls.
Then dunk. Missed dunk. Oh, it comes up in YouTube. Wow.
Look at the
Let's see.
score.
Hold on. 109.95.
How much time?
Let's see. I'm watching it. Oh my God. No one's near him.
How much time's on the clock?
Oh, 3 minutes and 15 seconds left.
They lost that game.
They were up 14.
They lost that game.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a deep
That
cut.
weird-
Nets
that's a-
reference.
That's a weird period of Nets basketball for me. I don't know. Like early Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was a little annoyed, I think.
Who's on the floor for them here? Darren Williams. Is that
Can you
who's
share your screen?
is that? Oh, is that who's the big
Karolinko?
rebounder? That crazy rebounder the Nets had.
Reggie Evans.
Reggie Evans and there's two other guys. I can't see. It's too blurry. Yeah, that's a crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, man, those are good ones though. You know, good
he went to
guesses.
Tennessee.
Yeah, because he's the only 10 I see. That's why.
You ever use that line?
No, not seriously.
Do you have a pickup line?
No, just hey, what's up? You know, that's all.
I had one pickup line in college.
Yeah, what was
Yeah.
it?
I would bring as a freshman, I would I used when I would study, I would study with index cards, like one side would be the question, the other side would be the definition or
Uh-huh.
the answer. So I figured out if you bring these to parties, it was like a really good way to talk to girls.
Bring index cards to parties?
Like with my study cards on them.
Okay.
So it would be like question answer on the back. So I'd have study cards, and that was a good starter to like talk to people. Like, oh, like, why do you have index cards? Oh, I'm studying for a test. I got my test on Monday. Even though I go to this party, I gotta keep studying. You want to help me study? Like, and I would give the card to the girl.
And
then we would
I'd be
study
helping
together.
you. Oh, that's cool.
It
It works. Whatever
It was
works.
a good
man.
move. That was a good move. You're looking
It
at
works.
like
Hey,
you're
listen,
downplaying it.
you got to be in the right. I'm not downplaying it. It's
You're
just
downplaying it. That
not
was a good
something I
move.
would have done, but that's everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean?
That was my move.
You know, there was a funny one that
I had no game, so don't give me that one.
There was a funny one that actually got me to pledge my frat when I was in Oneonta. I was standing at a party and I was rushing, so I didn't know who I was going to pledge or if I was going to pledge, and I was at a party and ended up being my frat. I'm talking to this guy who's selling me on the frat, whatever, right? And some girl standing there looking at her phone and doing whatever. It was a flip phone at the time, obviously.
Yeah.
And looking at her phone, and he just goes over to her, goes 646-512. You know, just starts giving her his phone number, and she just starts hysterical laughing, and they just start kicking. I thought it was the funniest thing ever, just the way he did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got to use that, but I never used it. But it was just so funny.
I was thinking about the other day just how old I am, and just how far away removed this is from my life, just with kids and
Crazy.
like
Yeah,
working,
life
and
is different.
I get up at 5 and I can't stay up past 9:40, and I'm just like, what has happened? I am an old person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's official. So you just bring this up, and I just started thinking about like college, and I'm so far from that life. It's not even. It's so far away.
No, we're all washed. We're washed up.
Washed up.
But I do enjoy, still having a drink. I do enjoy, watching my sports and being with my friends and family.
Yes.
But
it's just your priorities change.
But you can't go out and get hammered like you used
God.
to, and do some drugs and get hammered and like stumble home.
No,
you can't do that.
I'd be gone for. I'd be out for 3 days.
Not even that. It's just I'm nervous about getting like so hammered nowadays because like God forbid there's an emergency with my son, and then like I got to go to the hospital. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm so drunk. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. I can't. I'm like, you got to be responsible. Maybe when the kid gets older, and you know what I mean, can take care of himself, then I'll be the drunken, grandfather. But there now, like,
I don't think it's that.
I don't think by then I'll want to do anything. But it is what it is.
No, I
live my life.
I'll disagree with you a little bit. I don't want to do it because I feel horrible.
I know I do feel like shit sometimes.
Horrible.
But there is something to be said
horrible.
about, like, this is why as adults we see this, and now we understand it more at like a football tailgate, why these older guys just get hammered
At 10 a.m.
because it's 10 a.m. You get to drink all day.
Yeah.
You have the entire day to sober up and
Yeah.
pass out in the car or even pass out at the game, which I've seen. And you just like get home and then you pass out and you wake up the next day, you're a little groggy, but you had time to sleep it off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then
No.
you had your day.
I've become more interested in day drinking.
Right. Exactly.
Like on a Saturday, not random Tuesday.
A barbecue at the beach or what, whatever.
You have a drink at 2, 3, 4 o'clock. You're
Right.
okay. You go at night. There's nothing worse than waking up in the morning. You're hungover because your kids do not give a flying fuck.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It's like they don't care about
breaks.
daylight savings. The kids
There's
don't
no
know what
breaks.
daylight savings.
There's no breaks.
No.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm hungover today. I'm going to sleep in. No. Waffles, Bluey, don't matter, man. Whatever.
Give me my milk. Yes, exactly.
Bad
Anyway.
Weather Fans, episode 275. Thank you, Dolan J. Trump, for the trivia. Thank you, WFAN, for the idea for the content. And thank you, Kyrie Irving, for your live stream. We really
And your
appreciate
lies.
it.
For your lies stream.
Your live
Yeah.
stream. That's
Yes.
good. Tweet that.
Yes.
All right, Alex. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Bye.